the United States is going through the Great Depression. Remember that this is a worldwide economic collapse. Other countries are also going through it, and other countries are going to react a little bit differently than the United States did. Some people will argue that FDR was taking the United States towards socialism. Other people have argued that while he did move the United States along that scale towards socialism, he essentially saved capitalism and democracy through the New Deal. Now, in Europe, what's happening in many of the countries, there's this rise towards what's known as a political system known as fascism. Now, fascism is going to take the form of Nazism in Germany, but fascism as a general rule is a totalitarian government. And what that means is that the government and the state becomes more important than any individual liberty. So everything in the country is done to make the country prosper at the expense of individual liberties. It's usually run by a dictator. We're going to see Mussolini in Italy and Hitler in Germany. And it's usually ultra-nationalistic. Nationalism is kind of like patriotism on steroids, where you do what the leader says blindly and you believe everything that they say. And one of the key facts of fascism is that it's built completely on lies. And if not lies, half-truths and emotionalism. Fascism is militaristic. Fascism is always violent. Not always violent by the military, but in Italy, there's the brown shirts, and Nazi Germany, Italy's black shirts, Nazis are the brown shirts. But these are private people that are going to rise to become almost like a mob for the fascist leadership. It's based on resentment. How dare you take my stuff? In Germany, they're going to target the Jewish population. It's always emotional. And when you look at any sort of Hitler speeches, it's full of anger and fear and passion, and people are just blindly following whatever lies he's telling. Now, in 1922, Mussolini is going to take over Italy. He's going to lead to a fascist government there. And in the 1930s, the Nazis are going to rise to power, led by Adolf Hitler. Now, I'd like to point out that the Nazi Party was created before Hitler. Hitler joined the Nazis. He didn't create the Nazis. And one of the arguments that happens in history a lot is what would happen if Hitler didn't exist? And the argument is probably something similar to what happened anyways, because the conditions were there for Hitler to take advantage. He didn't lead the Germans to anti-Semitism. The anti-Semitism was there. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit as we go along. They take advantage of economic anxiety. There's a term that's been there for a while. Germany was full of had high unemployment, had massive inflation after the Dawes Plan collapses with the Great Depression and the crash in the stock market. There's this anxiety about where the economy is going in Germany and in Italy as well. They usually base their government on a fear of communism. And they're going to pair that in with racial identity in Nazi Germany. They eliminate political opponents, not necessarily opponents that are outside of their own party. In fact, the Nazis are going to have what's referred to as the Night of the Long Knives, where Hitler consolidates his power within the Nazi Party by eliminating his other Nazi rivals, like literally just has them murdered. Initially, fascism comes off as very clownish because they do like these outlandish things, have these big rallies, and they wear uniforms, and they tell just outright blatant lies. But the point of the lies is to make people question what's true. So we see a lot in, especially like Hitler's speeches, he attacks the media, and he tells outright lies to force people on his side to go along with the lies. And as the lies go along, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where if you start to question them, you're questioning the Nazi Party itself, and you might be attacked. Hitler's goal is to create a race-based state. He wanted to create an Aryan-based state where the white population would be favored. He leaves the Versailles Treaty. He rearms Germany when he wasn't supposed to, according to the Versailles Treaty. Sets up a whole fake vote on whether or not to have the Versailles Treaty removed, and 95% of the population agreed, how we know it's not fake. Demanded living space so that he could increase the military, which then also explains the rearmament. And he's going to target Jewish and other people as enemies of the state. And when you start to dehumanize and call people that don't agree with your political views enemies, and you start to see them as something other than part of your national group, then it's easy to start targeting them and trying to eliminate them.